are now listening to the Overflow Podcast at thisisoutcry.com.
You're so dumb for that.
What's up, everybody? This is Joaquin, and I'm here with
Jae.
And like I said, this is the Overflow Podcast. This is the Overflow Podcast. Hashtag Overflow Podcast at thisisoutcry.com, the website that is up and running and fully realized.
Yeah.
Yay. So with that being said, it is a week ago, we were all sitting around a table, stuffing our faces with delicious turkey and ham and mofongo stuffing.
That was you, mofongo stuffing.
Oh, that was me.
I didn't make the mofongo stuffing this year because Junior didn't get
the platanos.
The platanos.
He didn't get the platanos. Yo, like not for nothing, but this year's mofongo stuffing was like the best my mom's made.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, it was. You know, the problem with mofongo, mofongo is kind of a dry food anyway.
Yeah. And then a stuffing it does get.
So basically you just make the mofongo, you just stuff it in the turkey. So it really this time really soaked up a lot of the juices of the turkey being cooked.
Yeah.
So it still had the mofongo texture, but it was like soft, softer, I guess. Yo.
And it had
was
it had like turkey, whatever,
the
gravy,
drippings,
the drippings of the turkey.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Oh, it was so good.
Well, then again, we didn't get a turkey this year. We got a turkey breast, right? Keep it simple because like I'm not a big turkey fan, and I don't think Junie is either.
No,
like we were.
Yeah, turkey's one of those things. If when it's done right, it is delicious. But if it's overcooked, if it's not cooked right, turkey's one of those chickens, one of those birds that if it's not cooked, one of those chickens, one of those big chickens that we call turkeys. That if it's not done right, it's not very good.
Yeah, so we didn't get a turkey, but like every Puerto Rican, we got a pernil, and that's like we went to Nashville. You know that we went to Nashville.
You guys went to Nashville?
We went to Nashville, and
I didn't know that,
dude. It was pernil all day, every day that we were there.
Really?
Because there were only four of us.
You never have you ever made like Cuban sandwich out of pernil?
Yeah, but we didn't. You
guys didn't do it. That's the best, man.
Dude. Yeah, I know. But Magda went and she made stuffed crescent rolls, like stuffed with pernil for breakfast,
right?
Like some fried eggs, and it was
right.
Forget about it.
I should have drove up.
So it was that was the next day. The next day for breakfast, we had eggs with crescent rolls stuffed with pernil.
That sounds delicious. Yeah. When I was a kid, well, now that we got Christmas coming, Christmas is around the corner. More pernil. And the thing is, I remember, growing not just growing up, but even the last, because since me and my sisters, we're not married, so we all go to my parents' house. We all live in Georgia, so we all go to my parents' house for Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And then we do Christmas. I mean, the last few years we haven't been able to do that because, I usually work Christmas Day. My sister works Christmas Day. But man, one of the best things, man, we go Christmas Eve dinner, have pernil, have all that stuff, and then my mom would go buy the Cuban bread the day before, with the ham and the cheese, and pressing it. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Maybe I'll do that this year.
Because
normally what I do,
just make the Cuban sandwich.
What I do the day after is I make omelets with pernil.
Okay.
Like I'll chop up, the pernil and then add whatever else, and I'll make omelets for breakfast. Okay. But that's okay because we can have that for breakfast and then we can have the Cuban sandwich.
Yeah, you do get the Cuban sandwich from Publix, buy some. You got to press them, right? Do it right. You press them.
Yeah, we got that. And we got that.
You take the iron. You take the iron. If you don't have a plancha, you take an actual plancha.
You got to take an actual iron. Put paper on it first, aluminum foil on it first, and just keep
wax
it.
Paper.
You got to keep it there.
Get that cheese melted. Get that ham.
The cheese has to be
get
melted.
That ham warm with the. Oh my gosh, yo.
Enough.
I'm hungry.
I noticed.
I ate ribs for dinner.
Dinner?
I'm hungry. I'm talking sandwiches. I'm so. You making coquito this year? You better. You didn't make any last year.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I didn't?
No, man.
June.
I don't think you did. Hey,
did I make coquito last year?
See, he can't.
I think I did.
I don't think you did, man.
No?
You might have made you didn't. Normally, you make a bunch.
No,
you didn't make a bunch last year.
No. I didn't.
I didn't get any last year.
I didn't make any.
You didn't even make me last year.
I didn't make any.
me any. I'm already made.
Yeah, because you already made. No, I didn't make any. I didn't make any. Because last year we had like a whole bunch of people that we invited for Christmas Eve dinner.
Right.
So it was an interesting thing, right? Because of all the different people, and we had a few artists come by. Like, it's
humble brag.
It's become a thing where
I'm kidding.
Like I like to invite displaced people, like people that are here or that have moved here but don't have like family
right.
or somewhere to go, like so they won't be alone. I was like, yeah, just come on over. Like Magda has coworkers that have moved here from LA, right. So they're at the house,
everybody can hang out and experience a Puerto Rican Christmas.
It's really cool because there's always right, because you say that, right, Puerto Rican Christmas, but like for us, like it's funny for Puerto Ricans, every holiday involves pernil. Pernil is basically roast pork. Any holiday, any real holiday, any Puerto Rican holiday, any non-holiday.
Basically, any reason for someone to ask for pernil to be made, then that's because my mom always made me and my sisters our favorite. Like, what do you want to eat? She cooks us birthday dinners, and mine's always pernil. Pernil.
Mm-hmm.
I want pernil with like French fries or pernil with whatever. I don't care as long as there's a pernil.
Right. Pernil for you non-Ricans is roast pork, and it's the most
yummy.
And if you eat pork, it's the most delicious thing you'll have ever eaten. Because I remember last year we had James Hahn over, right, and it was the first time ever like for a Puerto Rican Christmas. And when he had some pernil, he was like, "Oh my God, that's so delicious!"
I'm telling you, man, there's something about and because your dad was a cook, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's something about on Christmas Christmas Eve day, waking up
to that smell of
pernil, because that your dad, like my mom, early in the morning in there dropping it in, so it's slow cooks all day. There's just something about waking up to that smell that lets you know. Yo, it's gonna be all right.
I'm gonna do something.
I'm gonna sleep at your house.
I'm gonna do something. I gotta clarify something. You know how you can't call a doctor Mister? You gotta say doctor, right? They'll tell you, "Oh, I'm a doctor," or whatever, right?
If they're jerks, yes.
So my dad wasn't a cook. My dad was a chef. Okay, but no. I'm gonna tell you why, right? Because you wake up to like pernil roasting or whatever, and it smells great. Yo, Papi used to do the whole pig.
Right.
Okay, he used to do the whole pig and put an apple in his mouth just to be funny because, we thought that was hilarious because that's how we always thought it was supposed to be because of like movies and books, whatever. So he would come like with this giant whatever block of wood, like carrying it on his shoulder with the fully dressed, fully roasted entire pig.
Right.
Like it was like, yo, I felt like royalty.
Yeah.
Like come Christmas, when he would come with that, I felt like royalty.
Yeah, rumor is that we're gonna have a family member cook a pig in a pit.
In a pit? Spit, actually.
A spit.
Well, that would be
spit, whatever.
That
tomato.
You got to bring.
The point is,
you got to bring some of that up with you.
The point is, I will not to share.
You gotta bring it up to
this
share.
Is not the season for sharing, Jay.
It is the season for giving. What are you talking about?
Right, I'm giving myself some pig when I come back from the trip.
No, but anyway. Yeah, so like, I'm even planning
like
on
a food episode. What the
all right, it is. I'm planning like I gotta wipe the drool off my face. No. I'm even planning on making a pernil for Dia de Reyes.
Okay.
Because
that's not something we really celebrate.
It's not
us. Like we don't. If you're Catholic, I think that's a real more Catholic, isn't it?
No, I celebrated it as a kid in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we did too.
Like, it was awesome. That was like the last.
It's more of an island.
That's the last gift you get.
Yeah,
right.
You have to put the box out. So Three Kings Day, for those that don't know. So Christmas, you put out cookies and milk for the fat guy,
right?
For Santa, not me, for Santa, and then
Three Kings Day.
Which sidebar? Okay. I will not have a problem ever dressing up as Santa Claus for the bean. That's all I'm gonna say. I've got the belly. I've got the belly full of jolly laughter.
It's not gonna happen. He freaked out in Charlotte.
I will dress as...
It was hilarious.
Well, but like he's still
Santa called him over. Santa called him over, right? And he walked over to him, no problem. Gave him a high five. Santa gave him a candy cane. He's like, "Thank you," whatever. When I picked him up to sit him on his lap for the picture, freaked out.
Well, that's now. But once he's able to really like ask for stuff, he's gonna be like, "So this is what I want, Santa." But
I don't care because it was a free picture.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm saying is I have no problems dressing up as Santa for the bean.
All right.
Just make sure the cookies are nice and warm and homemade. So Three Kings Day. So Three Kings Day, for those that have never celebrated, this is for all our non-Latino friends.
Our non-Latino friends.
Or / Hispanic, because some people get upset if you call them Latinos or Hispanic. So we're just gonna cover the spectrum.
No, we are not becoming a politically correct show.
/ Caribbean, right? / human. So Three Kings Day is the celebration of when the three kings came to visit, right? Baby Jesus.
Three wise men.
The three wise men. So, as a kid, what you do for the three kings for when they come to bring gifts is you leave a bowl of water and a box. I did a shoebox of grass.
Yeah.
And a bowl of water so that the camels could have something to eat
because they have a long
trip ahead of them. Journey. And then they would leave you, gifts. Like they bring baby Jesus gifts, and the three kings would leave you gifts. And so I remember as a kid, the few years that I was a single child before my sister ruined that. Dude, man, it was like gifts on Christmas.
You're ridiculous.
Gifts on Three Kings. It was amazing. And it's on January 6th, I believe. Correct?
I believe so, yes.
5th, 6th. I'm going to go with 6th. I'm staking my flag on January 6th. Jay's going to look it up now.
Hey, Google.
To confirm when Three Kings Day is. So as he's doing that, we just want to say, listen, if you want to celebrate Three Kings Day, we will take gifts.
Just come by
the house. Contact us on the Outcry page, whether on Instagram or Facebook or Sound. We don't care how you contact us. We will accept gifts.
Yep. January 6th.
January 6th. It's Three Kings Day. So, man, there's a lot of holiday stuff. This is awesome.
And we do trullas. Forget about it.
This is one of the
parranda.
This is one of my. Actually, I was visiting my parents the other day because my grandmother was here, and so I would say hi to her. So me and my mom stopped at Target to pick something up for her, and we're just listening to. There's a radio station on Google Music.
Trulla Express Radio?
Called Santa Claus Tiene Sabor.
Oh, I got to look for that one.
I'll send you the link for that one. And it's just like a mix of just, like salsa and some merengue, just Latin, Latin music.
I found
awesome.
In Nashville, I found on Google Music, I found Trulla Express, like a radio station, Trulla Express.
Oh, okay.
And it was like all the old parrandas.
Okay.
It was so dope. Like,
no, this is like Salsa Tiene Sabor. I mean, Santa Claus Tiene Sabor. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link to it.
Yeah.
What's great is like we were listening to a little drummer boy, but it was nothing but like the percussions, right? The congas.
Okay, that's dope.
In Spanish. So, and my mom is like,
what?
I like Christmas music, but Spanish Christmas music is so much better.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, it's funny. I was having this conversation with Junior in Nashville. Like, I don't like, and a friend of his, I don't like a lot of English Christmas music because it's either really sad, right? It's
real mellow,
or manipulative, or it's so mellow for such a festive holiday.
Yes.
It's just like, dude, it's boring. Like
Yeah.
your music for this festive holiday is boring.
Right.
So I'd rather listen to Spanish music.
Yeah, because Spanish. But the funny thing is, right, the American music is a lot more religious, whereas the Spanish music
It's about eating lechon.
It's about eating pig and like partying.
It's about lechon.
So what I like to do is I like to take both. Right, I like to create a radio station and have both. So you have a few songs where you're like, "Yeah, we're gonna eat pig," and then the next one is like, the little drummer boy, like
no lie, 80% of Spanish Christmas music is about partying and eating lechon, eating roast pig.
Yes,
like 80%.
It's like it's crazy.
It's
right?
awesome. Right? It's about celebrating and eating.
Yeah, it's like you get one song, you hear one song, and it's like ba ba ba. We want to celebrate Jesus, but it'll be in Spanish, right? And then then the next song, ba ba ba. Let's eat a lot of pig.
Right? It's like we want to celebrate Jesus by eating some lechon.
Lechon. Mira, tráeme lechon. I'll cry Christmas.
I'll cry Christmas. And you know what? Since we got into that, let's segue into the song of the day.
You want to say? Nah, we got some time. Let's hold off on that
because it's connected.
You want to do the music?
I want to do it because it's connected.
All right, so
yeah, throw it in.
Hold on a second. Here we go.
Talk about it.
Feliz Navidad,
right. So that was Feliz Navidad by Christafari.
Bra, bra, bra.
Right. I figured I wanted.
That's what I got to do whenever I hear.
I wanted you to throw it on because,
stuff.
even though it was reggae, and we were talking about like Latin music and whatever, but reggae is still Caribbean.
It's got that rhythm.
Right. And then it's Feliz Navidad, which
and
was, Jose Feliciano. Who's Boricua anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it was just like I needed to hear it because it was just like
that's a fun song.
The way they did it, their remake, forget about it.
Yeah, that's a fun song. I like that song.
But
I'm glad I'm glad we found it.
We
so
we
now,
threw the song in a bit early just because
Jay wanted to.
Because I wanted it. Because what we were talking about.
So just a heads up for the rest of the month. No, you know what? I'm gonna say it. Jay's not gonna like it. Whatever. Up through Three Kings Day, everything's gonna be Christmas music for the podcast, but we're gonna try to keep it upbeat. Maybe a few slow songs. We don't want to. We don't want to.
We only have like three
upbeat songs. No, it's 4. Three Kings Day, right? So that's
so Three Kings Day.
So Three Kings Day. So that's like 4 more songs. That's fine.
Swallow a Christmas bullet.
We got we'll find some fun stuff. So with that being said, we got a couple of things that we definitely want to make sure that you guys are made aware of. Number one is we have got we're the hearth and home. Hearth, if you don't know what a hearth is, it's spelled HEARTH. Go look it up. This is Jay's word.
No, well, basically, the hearth is the place in front of a fireplace, like that warm, cozy spot in front of the fireplace.
It's the brick, because brick is warm and cozy.
Not the brick outside.
Nope. No, that's Brick City right there.
When you're from New York, brick is freezing.
Brick is cold. Or Newark, right? Right? Is it Newark? This Brick City?
Yeah, Jersey.
Jersey. So the Hearth and Home tour, we're
kicking it off in January.
Kicking it off in January. So we'll have something up on the website. Next week or so, probably.
Yeah, it'll be in Mi Casa, which is what I'm saying. I might make up a name for that.
Oh,
just because like people will be there and it'll be nice and cultural, but I'll probably make it like pulled pork where they can just pick at it.
Well, we'll have to talk about that because you got people eating too much, and then you can't worship,
and then you can't worship.
So full and, you want to keep it. You might want to keep the hunger. You want to keep the hunger. So you want to sleep over. Just give people finger foods.
Oh my
keep
gosh.
the hunger. So that way, once we're done, they can go home.
We'll find the way. We'll make it work. But yeah, we're gonna kick that off.
But it's January 7th.
January 7th.
It's gonna be the first
stop of the Hearth and Home.
Hearth and Home. It's a little bit of it's gonna be a little bit of everything. It's like the first stop. It's gonna be the first official. So we're still gonna be we're gonna be getting our legs a little bit. There might be a guy in there recording so that we can use some of that footage to do a sizzle. Like a sizzle reel,
right?
So we can send it out to people, see what we do. So it's gonna be fun. So if you are in the Marietta, Kennesaw, Atlanta area, and you would like to come hang out with us,
and you're from anywhere,
or if you want to drive,
you want to fly in, you want to drive in.
Nah, you got your own though, as far as a place to sleep. I'll rent you floor space, but that's about it. I'll sublet my floor.
And what that'll look like, it'll be basically like an acoustic worship set, right?
And then just some word and
then some word. Some prayer, some fellowship, right?
If I can convince Jay, might even do communion. I don't know. We're gonna do all kinds of stuff. Who knows?
You don't need to convince me. Let's do it.
We'll do it. So
that'll be dope.
But anyway, so it's gonna be. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
We're doing communion. So you come and join because I do communion a little differently when I lead communion. It's gonna be weird. I'm gonna say this. It's like it's really dope. The way I put the communion
he
together.
He beatboxes while he's done.
Yes, I'm like. Jesus, take the bread. Take the bread. drink the cup.
And what else?
That was more like 80s hip hop. Anyway,
that was the Curtis Blow version of communion.
Blow version of communion. He is a believer now. I assume that's how he leads his church when he does. Hearth and Home Tour, January 7th. That'll be on the website probably within the next couple of days, maybe the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. So we're really excited about that. Couple of things, just because we like to share the stuff that we're doing. We're actually going to be working on a new intro. So hopefully be coming up in the new year. Our boy Angel, who did the track that we use now.
For our intro, yeah.
He did another one I really, really like. I was listening to it the other day again.
Well, he does the intro. He did the intro for the podcast. He does all of the music for the devotionals, the 90-second devotionals.
Yes.
So
he's good. He keeps getting better. Really excited with the stuff that he's putting together. But this is one of my favorite. I was listening to it again today, and I was just like, yo, that break is just so dope. So we're gonna be doing a new intro beginning of the year. I'm really excited about it because it's just something new we like to do.
No, but it's dope.
And beginning next year, we haven't set a date yet. We're still looking for a venue, but Legacy Nights will be kicking off next year. Within the our hope is at most February. At the latest, February is our hope. So definitely be on the lookout for Legacy Nights here in the Marietta, Kennesaw area where we can find a location. We've got a lead. We just need to pray about the lead and hope that God is ordaining those steps.
Yeah,
because it's physically it's a great little location as far as we can see. But there's just, if you've ever put anything together, it's just stuff that has to happen. So we got that, and then what else was it? Legacy Nights, Hearth and Home, and be on the lookout also, because at the beginning of the year on the website thisisoutcry.com, we are going to have some EPKs up that you guys can download to take to your youth pastor or pastor if you were interested in inviting us to come do Hearth and Home at your house, at your church, your area,
right? Or an outcry event,
or you want us to do an outcry event. We're going to have an EPK, which is electronic press kit, that you'll be able to download with our information on it. So me and Jay are going to be hustling these next few weeks to get that together.
It'll be easy. You see it, you download it, and you email it to your pastor or youth pastor.
Yes.
Or you print it out and you hand it over to them.
Yes.
And all of the information, everything that we're about will be on there, and and that's it. It's like, oh, well, I need to know more about these guys. Well, here you go.
Yeah. here's our
info. Check your email. I just emailed you their EPK. So it's
here's our information. So we're really excited. We've got I tend to be a little more excited sometimes. Since I like to drive around. But we're excited. We hope next year just to be able to just take the Hearth and Home all over the place.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Because I like driving, which is terrible because I like driving because I like seeing stuff when I'm driving. So hopefully not, we'll drive all over the place. Hopefully we'll drive all over the place.
We're gonna drive everywhere.
Invite us, please,
no,
so I can drive.
No, we're not. We're not gonna drive everywhere. No.
Well, I mean, if it's like they invite us to Alaska, obviously we're gonna fly a plane.
We're not gonna fly a plane either because we don't know how to do that.
Dude, I could do it. I used to play Top Gun on Nintendo. I could do it. Landing is a whole nother problem.
Oh my God, I can't.
So with that being said, this week's movie, since we love talking movies and TV, we just want to say this. We're not going to dive into it, but if you're into the Flash and Arrow stuff, I hope you watched the crossover event. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, we can't talk about it because I haven't watched Legends tonight's version.
I watched Legends tonight, and
Legends.
it was good. Like I got to say, I think 3 really strong episodes for Flash's episode was strong. Arrow's episode I thought was really strong. And I thought Legends was really great too. So
I am upset about one thing, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that.
No, I'm not upset. I'm just wondering.
Right.
Like, it's just like,
what's gonna happen?
No. It's just something with Flash. It's just, we're not gonna get into it because then that's what this whole podcast will be about.
Yeah, we'll get that. Now
we'll say that for next.
But
week.
now we will talk about a little bit about the trailer of the week. So we've been doing trailers of the week. Yes, I like that. Trailer of the week. The movie is called
Silence.
Directed by
Martin Scorsese.
The movie is about 2 Jesuit priests who go to Japan to look for a priest that was there already, who they say recounted his faith. Recanted. He was like, one. All right, I got one. I got it.
I love
to count to God.
No. Well, yeah.
Recanted. Recanted his faith. They said he did it, publicly. So they're out. They go to Japan to look for him, and it's the period from what we read. It's a period when
it was basically illegal.
Where it's illegal, like the hidden Christians. Hidden Christians, and the trailer looks. It looks like this movie is gonna be intense, and it's gonna be 3 hours and 15 minutes long. It is gonna be his longest. I think it's Scorsese's longest movie to date.
Damn, but he was real. Like he really wanted to get this movie.
Well,
out
he
there.
didn't. I read the blurb. He didn't take a fee to do this movie.
Wow.
And the actors were paid a pittance, is what it said. Like, so I guess the actors did it for the story.
Wow.
Right. So.
Because those aren't some B-rated actors, right? It's Liam Neeson.
He's got
Andrew Garfield, Adam Driver.
The one that was the big priest, who I don't know who his name is.
I just said Liam Neeson.
No, the other guy.
Oh, the other guy. The guy, the bishop.
The bishop guy, who's a well-known character actor, I would say.
Gosh. He's a Spanish guy.
And then, and then he's got a Japanese cast. So that's not cheap.
That trailer was so intense.
Yeah, so we're gonna, like always, have the trailer up on the site so you guys can check it out.
Wow. Would it be? Can you have spoilers for a trailer?
Yeah, you can.
The trailer. Well, whatever. I'm going to say it anyway. The trailer shows like the persecution of like the Japanese converts, right?
Correct.
And it's so rough to watch. Even though the little clips, right? Little clips, like it was.
The persecution they faced. Oh, and even the persecution that the priest.
Yeah, the priest.
Because it's not you're right. It's not like we'll leave the priest alone. One of the most insane lines in that trailer is when he says there was two really great lines. I thought the first one was when he said the samurai or the shogun or the Japanese guy looks at Andrew Garfield's character and he's like, they're gonna pay for your message or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So the idea that you're bringing them the message of Christ.
Yeah,
but
I'm not gonna touch you.
They're gonna
kill
pay.
them.
They're gonna pay. I'm gonna let you watch. And then the last line, what was it, Jay?
Am I praying to silence?
Am I praying to silence?
That's just rough, dude. That's like 3 podcasts right there.
Well, not only is that 3 podcasts, that's actually a great little intro to today's topic.
How does he do it, ladies and gentlemen?
You see what I did? I brought Jay into it. Jay didn't even know where I was going with this. Jay never knows where I'm going. That's why I'm the best. So if you need a host for your podcast, I will do it for you. So the trailer, Silence. It's about, part of it is about, from what we saw, it's about standing strong in your faith
against all odds.
In the midst of, not even against all odds, right? But because to me that brings a different picture in mind. But against persecution, against like real persecution. We're talking people, being killed, families being destroyed for faith in Christ. And so that's hard, I think, for us, especially in the West, because we live lives of freedom.
Yes.
Right. We, when I say the West, I'm not talking about like this whole the church. No, I'm talking about just kind of just the culture that we live in, right? Society that we live in. We live in a country, especially here in America, where
first world persecution.
Where we have the freedom of assembly. We have the freedom of worship. The government can't tell us, right, who to worship or how to worship or what church to belong to.
The real definition of separation of church and state.
Right.
But we're not going to get into that right now.
So when you see when you're reminded whether through film or through news, the reality that some people go through, some believers go through of persecution. It and we've talked about persecution before. It's something that me and Jay, we've talked about it. We talk about it a lot. We see a lot of things because we live here. Like Jay said, first we get so caught up in our first world, quote unquote, persecution, that we tend to forget what happens in other eras, what happened in other eras, right? If you look at Fox's Book of Martyrs, right? Just story upon story upon story. What's happened to our brothers and sisters even today overseas and China, the Middle East. And those
exactly.
Those
you say China because if I said first world persecution, like on purpose, right? Because when you feel persecuted because like
Starbucks doesn't put Christmas on their cup,
they don't put like Christmas on the cup, and then you realize, and then you read that China, they have the hidden church where they have to have service or have assembly like somewhere in the woods, and if they're caught, then they're either murdered on sight or they're all grabbed up and thrown in prison for having church, for worshiping the same Jesus that you worship in the church freely.
That we worship here. Yes.
Here, they'll get murdered or thrown in jail for for the rest of their lives.
When you see videos, and I think your sister posted this video this week on Facebook, and I'd seen it before. You probably have, where they showed they brought Bibles to the Chinese Christians, and they were just
crying,
weeping, because they got the Word of God in their hand. So I say that because this is going to segue right into what Jay is going to talk about, right into the topic. Because here's what happens: we wilt here when we face a little persecution, or a little perceived persecution, or if someone pushes back, and we're just kind of like, oh God, why have you forsaken me because they don't like my shirt or whatever,
or because I can't wear a hat in church,
or whatever it might be, or whatever it might be. So the reminder for this week, and actually it's actually a good step into what's coming when we're talking about as far as Jesus being born, and then going straight into Easter. The topic for today is what?
It's going to be such an interesting time,
right?
It's stand firm.
Stand firm. And so why don't you kind of begin breaking that down a little bit for us, Jay?
Stand firm. So I'm just going to go right into the verse, right? 1 Corinthians 16, 13 and 14 says, "Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. That all that you do be done in love." Right? So, we want to close out. Wow, we want to close out the first year of the Overflow Podcast, in celebration of what Christmas means to us as Christians, right? But historically speaking, before Jesus' birth, it was a time of persecution for the Hebrews. Right, it was a time of persecution by the Romans, and so it was very difficult for them to still believe in the prophecies, for them waiting on this Messiah that they've been waiting on since forever, right? And we're trying to find ways where we can bring that into like modern day happenings or modern day things, and so. We're starting off our Christmas series with Stand Firm. Why? Okay, hold on. I had the headphones over my hood. I tried to take my hood off of the headphones. Right? So standing firm in your faith or on your faith, regardless and in spite of every and anything that might come against you.
Correct.
Right? No matter what. Right? And it's very easy to say to somebody else.
Yes.
Or it's very easy for us to talk about it here.
Yes.
But we've all had those moments where we waver. Yes. Right? Where we doubt God.
Waver or we just fall out, fall flat on our faces.
We just fall right out, what we call backsliding, right? Where it's just like, forget about it, I'm done. I'm out.
It's not backsliding. It's back walking because I walked out. I didn't slide out. I wasn't sliding anywhere.
Right? So a Christian is always in danger, right? So therefore, we should always be on the watch, right? He should be fixed in the faith of the gospel and never desert or give it up. By this faith alone, he will be able to keep his ground in an hour of temptation. Right? That's I got that from Matthew Henry. Thank you, Matthew Henry. Right?
Oh, awesome.
So
thanks, Matt. He likes when I call
right.
him.
So I wanted to break down those verses, right? Especially that first one.
This verse,
right?
Okay.
Because the verse 14, let all that you do be done in love. That's self-explanatory. We can get into that,
Right.
Right. But
well, you know, I do want to take a moment about a Christian is always in danger. I think we need to kind of
expand on that and see what I mean.
Open that up just a little bit, because because it's about context, right? Context matters. A Christian is always in danger in Pakistan, right? Means something completely different than a Christian is always in danger in Chicago, Illinois, right? I don't know, Chicago. There's a lot of shooters in Chicago. So it might be the same. Let's say Charlotte, North Carolina, right? There is a difference in what that danger might mean.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The way I look at it,
like out in Pakistan, your life is in danger.
Here in the United States, your literal life.
Yeah. Here in the United States, your social life is in danger,
or your feelings,
right? Or
right, your feelings.
Or your life,
your feelings are in danger.
Your life could also be in danger here. Not as prevalent as it is.
I mean, yeah,
out there, but you know,
I mean, your life. I mean, I guess you could, in the most technical sense, the moment we're born, we begin to die. So
no.
Our lives, our lives are always in danger.
It's like the couple who didn't want to bake the cake.
Right. Well, that was their livelihood.
No, but their lives also, they were getting a whole bunch of death threats.
Yeah.
Anybody, which is what I'm saying. Like anybody could have shown up and done anything.
Yeah, but to me that's not that's an anomaly, or that's an exception. That's not. I mean, in other words, me and you aren't getting death threats from people. If I got a death threat, I would freaking be amazed, and I would
wait for it.
I would
wait for it.
I would love it. I would be like, Jay, I got a death
for
threat.
what you said about Canada last week. You're gonna get one.
Yeah, Canada's gonna send me like a mounted head on a maple syrup.
A joke
jar.
Death threat in a fruit basket.
It'll be like really nice.
In a cheese basket.
It'll be like, here, have some cheese. We're gonna get you.
Don't eat it all, or you'll clog your arteries.
Clog your arteries, eh? So
I'm gonna get banned from Canada.
I've never been banned from anywhere. That would be awesome too. So I think that we need to kind of that idea of danger is definitely kind of a different thing. I think here in America, or here, we'll say America because this is where we live, right? So here in America, I think our biggest danger, right, is not the threat of our life. Of our life being taken, but our biggest danger here is apathy.
Ooh,
right. I think
self-righteousness.
Our biggest danger, right? It could be self-righteousness. Our biggest danger could be complacency. It could be compromise. I was trying to think of that word. I was like, what's the word where you kind of let people do what they want and you're just kind of like whatever.
Silence.
Compromise. Silence. So those are the things that could potentially be dangerous. Not because you're gonna die, not because you're necessarily gonna lose your job, but like Jay said, you might lose friendships. You might lose acquaintances. You might lose family. So that, to me, I think that's the frame, especially within our context.
Or you could lose your job.
I'm not saying you can't.
I know somebody who lost their job not too long ago.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not saying you can't. But because our country's set up the way it is, if they fire you for religious reasons, you could potentially win your job back because it's against the law to fire somebody for that kind of thing.
Not in Georgia though.
Well, but there's processes. You're right though. Georgia is a little easier to fire just anyone for anything. So we both always have to tread carefully.
Yep.
I can't feed my pop and record addiction, and you can't feed your children. So I mean, there's it's the same thing.
Same. But I think that what Matthew Henry was that College Cafe, what Matthew Henry was talking about there, as far as Christians in danger, I think it was more spiritual.
Yes.
Right. I think I'm thinking it was
Correct.
more spiritual, like, your salvation is in danger, or your future zip code
Yeah, your
is in
integrity,
danger.
right.
So breaking down
testimony.
Yeah. So breaking down 1 Corinthians 16:13, be watchful. Right? It's funny how we always try to break these things down to points.
Correct.
And the verse did it for us.
Yes.
This week the verse did it for us. So be watchful, right? So be watchful against all your enemies, seen and unseen, right? So we find instances in the Bible where, a lot of the Bible you see like fear not, or be watchful, or like when Jesus went up to pray and he had John and Peter, I think there was someone else with them, right?
I think it was three of them.
Yeah, was it Andrew?
I can't remember.
No, so he had the disciples with him, and every time he came down to check on them,
asleep.
They were asleep.
That's
And he
me.
would wake them up, be awake, wake up, then he's like, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, right? So there's always things about us being awake or being alert, right? So 1 Peter warns us to be watchful because the adversary, the devil, prowls like a lion looking for who to devour, right? So you got to watch out for, and the devil, okay, a lot of people have different ideas of the devil, but the devil is real, right? So
That's what we believe.
the devil is real, right? Whether you
At thisisawkward.com, he's real.
Whether you believe it or not,
Hey.
the devil is real.
Hey,
Right?
I'm just saying.
So the thing is that, and how is he? It's a scary picture, right? To think that there's a lion waiting for you outside the door of your house,
Correct.
to eat you up, right? But that's on purpose. That's on purpose. He's prowling around like a lion, looking for who to devour.
Right, because think of the picture as this, right? If you've ever watched this, like Discovery Channel or even in school when you watch the Serengeti videos and stuff.
Yeah, Wild America.
Right? Lions, right? The lions, they don't attack the strongest of the herd, right? Because the strongest of the herd is gone.
Yeah.
They're way ahead of everybody. They always pick off the ones that are at the end, whether they're weak, whether they're sick,
Or they're slow.
In my case, just happen to be slow. That's the one that gets picked off. So that's why, number one, you have to be watchful so that you know when danger is coming, right? But at the same time, a kind of a sidebar to that, that's why it ties back to what we talked about either last week or the week before, might have been the week before, where we talked about, feeding yourself and being in the word to be strong in the word. Because if you're strong in the word, right, then you won't get picked off.
Yeah, and that's how you're watchful. You're
That's
watchful
how you're
through
watchful, yes.
reading the word. You're watchful through, having,
Pray, like I always say,
having a
read the
healthy
word.
prayer life.
Prayer life. Yeah, read
Right?
the word, pray
a
the
good
word, do the
relationship
word.
with God, right? Because, if you're prayed up, right, and if you're good and you're reading the word daily, then that builds up your strength. That
Yes.
builds up your faith. And it's like when
And
that movie The Gray. Did you see the movie The
I
Gray?
never saw the movie
with
The Gray.
Liam Neeson. He's got all these wolves, right? And supposedly the thing is that if a wolf comes towards you, but it's like crouching up on you, and you stand firm and you stare him in the eye, supposedly like the wolf like respects your strength and he walks away, right? So if you're prayed up and you're like eating that bread of life, that Bible all the time, then you can walk out of your house and see that lion there and just keep walking, right?
Correct.
Because he's no threat to you, because you're strong and he sees.
He got
he
66
sees
bullets.
that
Get
you're
him.
strong.
Plow, plow, plow.
You're so done with that, right? But then on the flip side, right? 2 Peter 3:10 tells us to be watchful because the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night.
Yes.
Right? So these things are like two contrasting things,
Correct.
right? Be watchful because the enemy is looking to devour you. He's looking to take you to hell with them, looking to kill you, right? And be watchful because when Jesus comes, he's going to come like a thief in the night. The thief doesn't like let you know, he doesn't make an appointment.
Hey, I'm going to come rob you on Thursday about 4 p.m. Is that good?
He's gonna have a 3-hour window. You know, it's gonna come between
the cable guy.
Right? He's gonna send you a text, a confirmation text. Just to let you know that I'll be at your house between 3 and 6 o'clock to rob you, right? Because this is Georgia. You'd be waiting with the gun,
yes,
right? So so you have to be watchful, be aware, be alert, build up, right? To protect yourself against the enemy, to be strong against the enemy, to be able to withstand the temptation, to be able to withstand the attacks from people who don't exactly agree with us. Because just because we're Christians, and then especially with the climate today, right? Like the dumbest thing that you can be is a Christian nowadays, right? So
and it's not even be watchful because we're actually even walking into the standing firm part. But it's because it's not about being watchful to be argumentative, to show that you're right and they're wrong.
Right.
Sometimes the best thing you can say is just, hey, you know what? That's fine. If that's what you want to, if that's how you think, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna, get sucked into something that's gonna, cause me to
fall in my anger,
to fall, and
or
then
like
all of a
punch
sudden,
in your face.
all of a sudden, I'm angry and I'm arrested because I've committed.
Right. So be
assault
watchful
and battery,
and alert to the things that will shake our faith, trip our walk, but also at the same time, be watchful and waiting and ready for the Lord's return. Right.
Word.
So, boom. So, and with that, and once we get a good prayer life. Would you say pray the word?
One thing I've always said, and I think I took this from my father, that it was read the word,
pray the word,
do the word, right? So if you're reading and praying, then you need to practice. I remember my dad used to say this when he was pastoring. He would always say, he would kind of say that pray, read, and give. I think is what he pray, live, and give, something like that. And one time, this lady at the church stood up, and it was just a very contentious thing. And she goes, "Pastor, we pray and we give. I don't see why so we're fine. We don't need to live." Right? Live it. And it was just kind of like,
how old was she?
Yo, she was she was a grown woman, like with kids. Like she wasn't like some, silly kid.
No, that's it. No. I actually expected her to be like a grown woman who,
and
feels that they have it all under control.
Right, because they felt that, I'm a decent person. I give money to the church, and that money goes to missions. So, why do I need to inconvenience myself and open myself to other things? So, pray, right? Read the word, pray the word, live the word.
Right? So and that helps us to the second point, to stand firm in the faith, right? Because
correct. Like
when it's like I one of my influences growing up in the church in New York was this sister Doris, right? And she had this she had a way with words. So she had this thing that, to stand firm in the faith, you got to know that you know that you know that you know that God is real, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not
I'm there.
Like you can't if you know that you know that you know, right? Then you can't be shaken, right? Nothing that can happen to you will ever make you doubt God, think twice about your faith, think twice about God, right? Why? Because regardless of anything and everything, you know that you know that you know, right? It's like it sounds so silly, but it makes so much sense,
yes.
Right? So, standing firm in the faith, seeing and trusting Him that is invisible, seeing and trusting in our invisible God.
And the thing is, like, standing in the faith, the funny thing is the picture that popped into my head. There's a series called Band of Brothers that was on HBO.
Haven't seen it.
And
I gotta see it.
If you haven't seen it, I I usually watch it once a year. Like, that's how good it is, right? I watch it once a year. And there's 2 episodes where it takes place in a place called Bastogne, which was it was a area of woods, I believe it was in France, and they faced, and so this company, it follows Easy Company, but the whole battalion, they were surrounded by the Germans, right? They didn't have supplies, right? They didn't have warm clothes. They sent them out there without warm clothes, as they didn't really have supplies. They didn't have much food. Medical supplies were low. Ammunition was low. They never gave ground. The Germans weren't able to defeat them, and they held their ground, right, until reinforcements were able to come and help them finally break through and push the Germans back.
Nice,
right? So, but here's here's the picture, right? You know, within the episode, a lot of times you'd see them and they're huddled together in a foxhole, 2 or 3 guys. And they have a blanket over the foxhole to try to trap as much warmth as possible. They're freezing, you know, but they refuse. They refuse to retreat.
Nice.
The Germans sent them a letter and said, "Hey guys, listen, you guys can go. We'll let you guys leave. You know, why die? Why stay here?" And the general was like, "This is what I told the Germans, you know, take a hike." Like, a little more colorful than that, right? He was like, "Take a hike." And the soldiers were like, "Yeah, we're not going anywhere." You know, they're freezing to death. They don't retreat.
Nice.
And because they stood firm, because they stood their ground, in the impossible odds, not enough supplies, but they held the enemy. They withstood the attacks of the enemy. That's the picture I see when we're in that word. And we got our last bullet, right? And we don't know where we're going. We don't know where to turn. We're in our foxhole. But if we're watchful, if we're in that word, then we're not going to give ground.
You can stand firm.
Then you can stand firm.
You have the strength
even if
firm.
everything is just to crap,
mm-hmm.
and everyone looks at you and goes, "Your life is crap."
Yeah, you're crazy.
Right? Your life is crap. But you know that there's a higher purpose here. There's a higher calling.
Right. And for that, you know, we'll go right into the third point, which is act like men, right? Which is
or woman.
Well, the interpretation or the idea that I got is that, you know, to be courageous and patient, right? Because I mean, right now we've got, you know, what we've got, you know, be watchful, right? So be aware, be alert, right? Get fed with the word, have your prayer life up, right? So you can have the strength to stand firm in the faith and not be shaken and not be moved, right? But when, you know, the enemy comes up against you or people come against you for your faith or in circumstances, you know, beat on you, you know, and it's easier for you to just deny and run and do the easy thing
or walk away,
right?
Yeah, or say dumb things like, "Well, I don't need to be in church. It's just I can walk the woods and be with God and be fine." But you know what that is? That you're retreating. You're retreating from something difficult.
Right. And the example that right? And the example that I use for this, you know, and talking about that goes perfectly what you said, is found in Joshua 1:9, right? Joshua 1:9, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened. Do not be dismayed. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go, right? At that moment, Joshua was facing, you know, Jericho.
Yes.
Right? You know, this fortified city. And God was telling him, dude, just take a few soldiers, take your high priest.
Do what I tell you,
and
you'll be all right.
And walk around Jericho a few times, right? And blow your horns and don't worry about it. The walls will fall. Now, you know, hey, God, I mean, are you serious right now? These are like fortified walls. And you want us to like play trumpets at
play jazz.
Right? It's like, you know. And there weren't that many of them.
I don't think that's how it
right? It's like Kenny G was at the front line. right? So, there weren't that many Israelites that were warriors at that time, right? And it's like, hey, God doesn't want the warriors. God wants the musicians and the high priests, the ones that cut themselves when they're trying to like
chop bread.
Exactly, right? And we got to walk around Jericho one time, and then play our trumpets, blow our trumpets at the walls. What? But God told him, stand firm, be strong, be courageous. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Dude, now if that's not affirmation, right? If that's not affirmation that, hey, this sucks. This is crap.
Yep.
Right? This is garbage. My best friend, the person that I break bread with, is now betraying me. Everybody's talking about me. Everybody, whatever. Like, my wife left me, all this stuff. But, as my old pastor, Pastor Charles, used to say, but God, right? It's like, but God. Like all this stuff, like everything is falling down on me, but God is with me wherever I go, right? I have nothing to fear, nothing to be concerned about, right? Because God is with me wherever I go. I mean, there is that song Oceans, right? The Hillsong song Oceans. Like, it's an awesome song. But what impacted me the most about that song is when the singer says, I am yours and you are mine, right? Because the whole song is awesome, right? Lyrically, musically, it's an amazing song. But when I first heard that song and I heard those two lines, I am yours, you are mine, there was such a powerful assurance.
Yes.
Right? Like, I'm good because I belong to God, right? And God belongs to me, right? There's that assurance that I've got nothing to worry about, nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be concerned with. I can do it all, walk it all, survive it all, live it all.
See, and then you can use, I can do all things through Christ properly.
It's funny. I was gonna add that to these notes, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
Then you can use Philippians 4:13 properly. I can do all things through him who gives me strength, because he gives us the strength to kind of face those things, being strong in those things.
Right? So fourth point, to be strong, right? To be able to suffer, right? And withstand suffering for his will, right? So, we started, Christians are always in some type of danger. Physical, social, emotional, like
spiritual.
Right. We all experience some type of suffering because of our faith in Christ. So we must be strong because God is with us always, as we just now stated, right? If the above verse, right, if it wasn't enough, the verse that we just said, Joshua 1:9, that God goes with us wherever we go,
right?
Then, I got another one for you. Romans 8:18 says, for I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us, right? So whatever suffering we experience now is fleeting, right? It's temporary,
right? In the well, and let's put it within
the broad spectrum.
In the broad spectrum of time, right? It's but a moment, right? Here now, it might seem like I've been going through this for like 20 years, but when you get out and you see it in the span of time through how God views time, it's just but a moment.
Or even if you take a step out of being inside that issue, inside that circumstance, or that problem, if you take a step out and look at the bigger picture, look at the broader view of it, right? Then you can see like what's going on in the background. You can see the working of what God is doing, how you've been growing, how your faith has been growing, and your faith is being tested, as James says in the first chapter of James, how your faith is being tested and how you're growing in your faith, right? And it sucks. It hurts. It's messed up. Dude, like Job lost it all, but he stood firm, right? He lost his children. He lost his riches, his wife, his best friends sucked. His wife sucked, right? Yep. Right? But he stood firm in his faith in God.
And the thing too with Job is, he wavered. Like he did. He wavered. He did, but he still believes. And I think that's the key. I think we even in this, listen, we don't want to we don't want to make it sound like if you waver, if you have a doubt, that oh man, you failed, because that's that goes against everything that we're trying to do here.
Yeah, we don't want you to take this and misunderstand us by saying that if you go through things, then you can't doubt God, that you can't question God and ask him, why are you going through these things, right? Because that's okay.
Right.
It's okay to ask God, dude, what's going on? Why is this happening to me? That's fine. I still do that. Like I still do that almost on a weekly basis.
You know, if you fall, if you stumble, if you as Jay says, backslide, or as I say, backwalk, you know. But the thing is maintaining that faith, and even if we shift, I mean,
even if we shake a little,
even if we shake,
stumble,
it doesn't. That's not the point. The point is that even if we waver, but that we waver with our eyes on Christ,
and with an honest heart
towards
God,
and being honest with God and honest towards God, and this is where even and this is not even in the scripture, but as far as what we have here, but that's where surrounding ourselves with family, that family in the faith that will be there to help us, because
thank you.
You can't. Why would you think I'm saying like regular brothers and sisters?
Yeah, like regular brothers and sisters.
No, like family in the faith that'll be with us, that'll encourage us, that'll uplift us. Because remember,
that'll pray with us.
Because remember, to use kind of the analogy, when we're talking Joshua didn't do it alone.
No,
he had an army, right? Now he fought with the guidance of God. So maybe he didn't have all his soldiers. Maybe he only took half his soldiers one time, or whatever the case may be, but he had an army. You understand what I'm saying? Moses didn't do it alone, and Moses wavered all the time. He had people with him.
All the time. His temper would take him places and to do things that were ridiculously crazy.
Correct. Right. The example of these World War II soldiers, the Battle of Lechon, they weren't by themselves. It wasn't I'm standing strong by. No, they were a unit. They were a company. They were a group of people that were doing this together. And that's why me and Jay are always so adamant about finding a church that you can plug into, connect to, so that you can face this battle, or these battles in life and in faith with people that are there with you to help you stand firm. Remember Moses, they had to hold his hands up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He got tired. They had to hold his hands up. So
yeah, it's like to do this alone.
So that's why
do this alone is tough.
Yes.
Right? Doing this alone or trying to do this alone is tough.
So
it's tough. You need first, you need God, right? And second, you need a church family. You need other believers that'll stand with you, or as Isaiah says, stand in the gap for you, right? And intercede for you and pray for you.
Right.
It's very important. It's very important. Do not forsake the meeting of the saints.
Yeah. And that will encourage you to bring it back home. That will encourage you, these people, these folks, right? These men and women, that will encourage you to like the 4 points, right? To be watchful, to stand firm, to act like men or women, to be strong.
Right. Watch, stand, courage, strength.
Watch, stand, courage, strength.
Right. And shut it all down. The last verse, right? Well, part of a verse, Romans 8:31b. If God is for us, then who can be against us? Right? No.
I mean, no commentary needed. God is for us. Who can be against us? So with that being said, guys, that's it. We're done for the night. So glad that for those of you that hung with us, so glad that you hung with us and spent time with us. We really appreciate it. Don't forget, go to thisisoutcry.com. You can get the podcast, the links to subscribe, iTunes, Google. See the trailer for the movie Silence. Rock Your World. Listen to Feliz Navidad by Christafari. And actually, Jay will have these notes also posted up on the blogs. You can download them to read them later on too. So is that it? I think that's it.
Yeah, we're very thorough on this website.
Hey man, So, and to keep an eye out for the Hearth and Home information. Hearth and Home tour info.
Yeah.
So, with that being said.
Was that like the third time you say that?
I always say that all the time. I need a new catchphrase. So, with that being said, this is Joaquin.
I'm still Jay.
And this is the Overflow Podcast at thisisoutcry.com.
Thanks for listening, guys. Love you.